George in Kemney. What do you think?
Well, I think he should call an election bill. For a start, the Labour Party keep talking about democracy. There's no democracy in the current Labour Party. He was shooed in, Wendy Alexander shooed in, Jack McConnell was shooed in, McLeish was shooed in. We're running out of shoes.
That's very good. I like that, actually. But surely the point is that all of them, I think all of them without exception, my mind is going back, but I think all of them without exception have faced the public in elections before, and the public have backed them, like Jack McConnell, for instance.
Well, yes, I accept that point, but they keep saying, I mean, where else do you get, what other party in Britain keeps its supporters locked out of the debate? You know, when Blair was at the top of his peak and he came to Glasgow, the average punter was locked out. You couldn't get into the exhibition centre. Brown, I suppose, is a decent kind of guy, but to me, I don't trust him, and I'll tell you. This is a man who financed and backed Tony Blair in the worst decision any politician can make, and that is to take this country to war. And it's an illegal war. And here's a man of the manse who has categorically supervised the decisions in financial terms to make the rich richer and the poor poorer, and he's got the brass neck to stand as a Labour Prime Minister.
Well, he is a Labour Prime Minister, there's no doubt about that. He's at the Labour Party conference this week. He'll be cheered to the echo in Bournemouth.
Does that not just give you the definition of these people in that hall, the definition of democracy? Remember, Gordon Brown was part of the cabinet who lied to his kith and kin about the resources of the North Sea and the consequences that could have been for a benefit to Scotland. I wouldn't trust him with a collection plate in his father's kit.
What about, I mean, you say that you'd like to see an election, but don't all the opinion polls tell us that he'd walk it?
When I go to put my cross against her, I don't look at opinion polls. I look at who's going to stand for the election in my particular borough, my wee town, my wee village, my country. I go and put I don't listen to... Can you tell me where we would be if everybody voted the way the Sun wanted us to vote?
Well, I don't think it's quite the same what they're trying to do. I mean, I don't see them necessarily just the Sun. But these opinion poll organisations, I mean, they're genuinely reflecting what people's views are, aren't they?
They give a reflection at the time that they published the polls. Labour were neck and neck with the Tories. At one point recently, the Tories were ahead of Labour. Now there's a plus of 6 or 7%. They will control the media, the politicians will control the media to suit their book, and it's up to open-minded people to put their cross in the right box.
So you don't go along with this idea that there is a reluctance or a reaction by the electorate when they are asked to vote too often. In other words, if people ask you to go to the polls more than once every 3 or 4 years, that people get a bit scunnered and actually take that out on the person who asked them.
Well, like a lot of people, I think there are too many times when they've got to go to the polls and vote. Hence, the fatigue in the voting public to turn out and go. I accept that that's a point that's got to be addressed. But I would certainly, at a time when a new man's coming in, you can't just shoo him in. The people have got to voice their voice, and that's a democratic voice.
And then what happens, for instance, if you get someone as he is, as Gordon Brown is, coming in to head up a Labour Party, head up a government that got a very big mandate at the last election? Now, what would happen if he went to the country and got in by a majority but by a reduced majority? What would that do to his credibility?
Well, it might not do a lot to his credibility, but it would reflect the opinion of the nation on Gordon Brown. And is that not what elections are about?
Do you think it would, though? I know that you, clearly from what you've said, are very much against Gordon Brown and against Tony Blair, for that matter, previous to him.
Well, don't mention that man to me.
No, I know, I can hear that, yes. And you're against the war in Iraq. But do you think the general population is with you in that? It would not appear to be, according to the opinion poll.
Probably not. I would say that, and I discount Scotland from this, the decision of the British people, and I say Britain, that's Wales and England, is determined by how much money they've got in their pocket at the time the election's there. The pound rules the vote. Up here, we're a wee bit more discerning.
So is the economy stupid elsewhere but not in Scotland?
Well, just remember, yes, I would say so. And just remember that Gordon Brown and the Labour Party, their prediction was that they had to win the vote in Middle England. Well, if you take a wee round into Middle England, you'll see why. That's where the money is. That's a simple fact.
OK, George, thanks very much. he was calling there not from Middle England but from Kemney.